Namaste and welcome to today's The Love Satsang transmission with one topic that has been in my field and in the field. So I was called to talk about this in more depth. And as you probably have read the title, it is about timeline jumping, timeline shifting, quantum jumping, shifting reality, as always in my world, in a soul aligned way. Because I feel many people, many of the ones who have already questioned life, who have started walking the path of awakening, ascension, spiritual journey, have done already a lot of work. And in the past transmissions, I have actually also followed a little bit quite naturally an arc of evolution where we went from the disruption, the tower moments, the void state, to questioning life, to being in this not knowing in between state between identities, realities, worlds, belief systems, how to reprogram your subconscious, how to shift your identity. And in a sense, all is interconnected, of course. And so many also have already journeyed or are somewhere on these stages and come to this point. I've done so much work already. I've done already so much inner work. I've already looked at my limiting beliefs. I have already healed past trauma. I have already worked on my attachment styles, on my reparenting inner child topics. I have tried many techniques and so forth, and yet you find yourself somewhat in a reality you don't really feel like this is what I actually work towards to. And what I also notice sometimes is that people get stuck in this loop of always seeking what is next to heal, what is next to transform, to shift, to study. A loop of I'm not yet done somehow. And whilst there is a truth in that, because we are never complete, we are limitless beings, and there's always a next evolution, next level of this game of life you can master, there comes a point where you may feel actually it is already time that at least something in my outer reality should shift. My internal alignment is at some point already clear, so that I expect accordingly the reality to align at some point. Yeah, and we go today into this topic of like, actually, I've done already a lot, and I really want my outer reality to change. I want maybe not even to consciously manifest. That's also one technique of timeline jumping, of course, and it's part of it. But actually, through your own internal alignment, automatically, you don't have to control or force this manifestation, but it should be a natural consequence, an effortless way of manifesting, actually. Yeah, not of like, oh, what's the next manifestation technique, but about internal alignment, soul alignment, and then your outer reality rearranges itself. Yeah, that's the topic of today. And maybe you are on that stage of like, yes, I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to receive this reality, this new timeline I've been working towards. And yeah, often this shows actually as an internal contraction, as something like anger, sadness. Yeah, as if you wanted to like fight against the divine, like scream at the universe of where is actually, yeah, my fruits? Where are my fruits of the seeds I've sown for maybe even years? You've maybe even started years ago questioning yourself, working on yourself, and still you are like, where is this? What somehow spiritual teachings say, like with a snip, it's there, like internal alignment, external alignment. And there's a truth in there also. But maybe today you get some more insights into why you are still somewhat cycling in the same timeline or stuck on one timeline that doesn't really feel so aligned, not in resonance with your soul purpose also. Yeah, very, very much true that we are in a time quality where your soul has chosen not only to live a fulfilling life, but in the fulfillment lies living your soul purpose, living in your truest essence, why you came here, be in service to the collective whilst being your most authentic self. Yeah. So if you feel contraction, if you feel maybe even insomnia, sleeplessness, digestion problems, overthinking, working nonetheless, hustling in your, yeah, trying to find a way into your soul business by hustling, or yeah, common contraction is also if you feel it somewhere in your physical body, tension, yeah, very much so. And all these signs actually are directing or are signs of your soul. Like there's still somehow a mismatch, a tiny or grander misalignment of your internal state, although you may feel aligned, and your external reality. And I will give you also some tips today, of course, what you can look into where there might be this misalignment. I've now talked already a lot about like timeline, and I've jumped right into that topic. But for those who are a little bit more new to this, just to get on the same page about this topic, we have our internal state, our energy, our vibration that projects outwards and attracts a reality. And when we speak of timelines, it's actually a little bit thought of reality unfolding on a timeline, really, yeah, of the human timeline. Of course, we have one expensive moment where everything happens at the same time, but in this human dimension, we think in terms of timeline, in terms of step one, two, three, and step of in terms of past, present, future. And so timeline is reframing a little bit of reality manifestation as an evolutional path. Yeah. So timelines of this is a reality I can live. This is a reality I can experience here in this human self, in this avatar on this planet. Yeah. And if we come to quantum physics, that's why also some call it quantum jumping, although there are some slight nuances. Quantum jumping is very instantly often, and timeline jumping can be also a slower progression. That nevertheless, timelines, you can see it like there's a vast field of your imagination, of your consciousness, that can project different realities that you can experience, seen in different timelines. Like, there's a timeline, there's a timeline, there's a timeline, yeah, all around you. In a way, if you step back out of your human involvement into this reality, you can see like, okay, this timeline is available, this is nice, this is what I wanted, this is actually what really would fulfill me, this is what I expand in. And there's also a timeline, multiple timelines actually, not always one, a timeline that is soul aligned. So there are multiple timelines that are soul aligned in the way that they support your soul's evolution and soul's purpose. You can live on a timeline, of course. You have growth, you have insights, you have challenges to overcome. Any timeline you choose has this intrinsically. So there's never really a false or misaligned timeline in that way. But there are more aligned timelines that really benefit you and that also catapult you like catalysts on your journey. And if you're smart, and I know you're smart, you use this concept to see which timeline is already bubbling inside of me that my soul is calling me towards. Which reality is next to my next evolutional step? Which level of the game is next in my soul's journey on this lifetime after lifetime? You journey and cycle through different realities, dimensions, timelines. And so you have multiple soul aligned timelines, but one soul aligned timeline that is currently a perfect match for that next step. And if you have this contraction, you're most probably not on this most soul aligned timeline that is available for you. So that is the mismatch you feel. Yeah, the mismatch is felt in contraction. I repeat that. Contraction, because this is actually also the first step to see, am I soul aligned or not in my reality? These signs of contraction. That's the first step, to identify there's a gap between where I am currently and where I want to be, where I see myself, where I sense myself. And maybe you have even already done some visualization, some vision boarding, some reprogramming of your mind, of your subconscious. And you already have tapped into that available timeline multiple times. And that is always a priming of your system, actually. Yeah, very smart of your soul, of priming, like there is something already activating inside of you, readiness, preparation for that timeline that wants to be manifested through your projection. Yeah. So we have the quantum field, different timelines, all have some purpose, yeah, no matter where you are. Also, the current one has, of course, a purpose and is oftentimes also just an outdated person. You have outdated timeline, yeah, outdated persona, also identity with that sense. And you are ready for the next. And then you have these different soul aligned timelines. And then you have one specific soul aligned timeline that is the perfect match for you currently to evolve further. That's my concept, my point of view. So, yeah, it's always just a transmission through me that you can receive, digest, alter in your favor, and also add whatever works for you. Yeah. Soul aligned, what does it mean? As always, we had also already a soul aligned identity shifting 2-part workshop here on my YouTube channel. If you are interested, I really recommend watching this because this is very much interconnected, of course. To shift your identity, that's, yeah, part of it. Shifting your identity, we create a new reality that is also soul aligned. That we, yeah, have this soul alignment when we know our soul essence. This is just something I'm so much dedicated and devoted to make you aware again, to make your soul again the central point of this life. We have been conditioned to make our like physical world, our human storyline so dominant that we have forgotten collectively our soul essence. And even if you know the term soul, a lot of people, I mean, if they know the term soul, they have not really, they cannot really feel it. And so my wish for you is to really get down to what is this that lives through me? What is this energetic being inside of me that actually uses the human avatar just as a tool to express this soul essence into the world, to be an embodiment of your soul, to bring your soul's purpose through the human body into this, on this planet, to this, yeah, ascension process, to have your part of why you are here, working towards 5D new earth and all the buzzwords we have for that new age of humanity. And in my opinion, I have shared it many times. In my opinion, 5D consciousness, new earth, planet, world is not possible without being reconnected to your soul. It's essential on that path, and it's essential on the ascension journey. It's maybe even the most key point of spiritual awakening, that you reconnect with your soul, which in turn is also reconnected to the divine. Because then you naturally unplug from the system that has been established around us, that had us made forgotten. Yeah. Soul alignment, soul aligned identity, soul aligned reality, soul aligned life, soul aligned shifting timelines. For that, you need to know, what is my soul essence? What is my soul essence? And one way of doing it, that's what I do in my mentorings, is, yeah, deciphering it through astrology, human design, and the gene keys, through reconnecting you to your soul, to really get the sense of, I can surrender, I can trust, I am guided from something higher than what my mind can even comprehend. Yeah, to let go of control of that. So that's a very essential step, of course, if you want to get out of the contraction, out of the confusion, out of this overdoing of I have to heal, I have to transform, I have to do the next course, workshop, bam, yeah, out of it into the peace of your own stillness and essence and being, to reconnect with your soul, because your soul knows what the next step is to get to this soul aligned timeline. Reconnection with your soul is essential on soul aligned for soul aligned identity shifting and soul aligned timeline shifting. While you may also still be on a timeline that feels misaligned, is that it may not be, I mean, the timeline you are anticipating or that you're working towards, it may not really be coming from your soul as a desire from your true being, but more so as an ego desire. I have a podcast episode about soul desire versus ego desire. And basically, it is some people look at others and see, like, oh, actually, this is a nice life. I would love to live this way, or I would love to have this, whatever, brand new thing or clothes or villa or car, or very much also externally driven. They compare themselves, they see like, oh, this would be nice, or don't have this, I would love to have this. So this is more like a comparison, a judgment, an external grasping of something that wants to have a certain reality. And if it's in this time quality, and if you're on this path of soul recognition, of soul remembrance and soul embodiment, your soul will nudge you like, no, this timeline you are anticipating is maybe not the highest good for your soul's evolution, for your best version, your highest self exploration and expansion. And then, of course, there will be a block of, no, this is not your soul aligned timeline. Go back and look into yourself, see all these other possibilities, these all quantum timeline possibilities, which actually of these timelines fits more. Yeah, that's a big reason also why it may be blocked, because it's a protection. It's a protection of going to the right one, directing to the right path. Yeah. But you can also look at soul desire versus ego desire. Yeah, I'm now coming into this field of checking if you have something of the following what I am now going into. If you have something out of alignment, if you can look into that to really feel this is a aligned timeline, this is how I feel when I'm aligned. And actually also to just drop this here, how to know if you're soul aligned, if you're on a soul aligned timeline. The opposite of contraction, expansion. You feel expanded. You feel you can breathe again. Your soul can breathe again. I have this as almost like my slogan always and again, like, let your soul breathe again. Let it breathe through your body, figuratively and literally. You feel expanded on a soul aligned timeline. You feel nourished. You feel fulfilled. You feel, even if there are challenges or downfalls, or you have moments of sadness, even, it's part of life. It's part of the duality we live here on this planet. Even though you find the spark in the moment, you can stand up again. Something motivates you again to stand up and go forward and say, like, nevertheless, I'm still here. It's okay. I know this is my path, this is my soul purpose, this is my soul's expression even. Yeah, before we go into purpose, we also just have also our fullest soul expression to share, to transmit, to ignite others and see the beauty inside of our essence. Yeah, you feel expanded, nourished, fulfilled, purposeful. You feel life is meaningful. You feel excited. You feel curious, almost like a child again. Yeah, the inner child is very active usually when you are in your soul aligned embodiment, identity, timeline. So expansion is the main key word here to remember. Soul aligned is expansion and excitement. So soul desires we had, ego desires. What else is also you can look into, and that we dived in several sessions already, transmissions on my channel, is the belief system. So you may have done a lot of inner work, but oftentimes some beliefs are really much in the subconscious, really down here, we cannot really access, or there's maybe even one aspect of yourself blocking to access this part of you that still has beliefs that bring this timeline never in your experience, that keep the timelines, in other words, that keep that timeline somehow as an almost, almost, this timeline almost, but never really like a full lived reality. Yeah, because there may still be lingering limiting beliefs of tied to worthiness, actually, oftentimes, like, am I really worthy of receiving this? Am I actually able to hold this? Am I actually able to manage the new responsibility that comes with that? So there's always a little bit of a sneaky part of like, maybe it's a little bit better or easier perceived from this part, easier to stay where I am. And as long as this is a part that is still active and sees some benefit in staying there, yeah, keeping you where you are, keeping you usually smaller, because every next timeline means expansion, means, as I said, new responsibility, means new self concept, new self expression, new way of being, of living, of seeing the world, and also tied to your past. Yeah, and this part is also often tied to your past of what you think is possible for you, what you think is possible, and what you are thinking you are worthy of. Two major aspects here, especially. Yeah, I could go into different other areas in this part of clinging to an old, outdated version that blocks a new version of you and a new timeline to manifest. But that are main reasons I always see. Not thinking this is actually possible for you. That's why it's keeping like distant future almost like state, or not feeling worthy of living that life that you actually want to live, that your soul wants to experience. And that is also, yeah, part of conditioning, actually, your past, your yeah, it's the societal and cultural background, how you were brought up, what kind of environment you have been experiencing and seen. Yeah, so what is possible for you? Do you really, I mean, you have probably already this knowing there's a timeline available for me and I'm working towards this, but really check in these two parts. Do I really believe it's possible for me to live that? Or what do I still need to shift to feel, yes, I really think this is possible. This is not possible. This is even inevitable, inevitable for me to experience. And to ask, do I really feel worthy of that life that I'm visualizing, that I'm carrying in my heart, that I have been creative with already, that I've worked towards, that I've shifted internally already to some extent? Do I feel worthy of it? And what part does still try to earn, try to prove, try to be someone you are not to receive? Yeah, also childhood, look into your childhood, your parenting, your inner child, how you, yeah, how you navigated receiving love and being worthy of, or your self-worth aspect, strengthening your self-worth, that you come back to our intrinsic nature of being worthy, of being value, just by being, not by doing, not by earning. I feel like earning even is a word you can cancel out of your dictionary, internal dictionary, because we never have to really earn something. That's a conditioning we have received from society, from the system. Just vibrate in your purest essence. Everything aligns in that sense. Not that easy, of course, like this, but yeah, it's the baseline of be. Be in your truest essence, aligned to your soul. Message always and again. Yeah, limiting beliefs is one big issue also of why you are still in a misaligned timeline, not soul aligned timeline. In that sense, often also ego aligned timeline, because the ego was stronger than the soul and this time quality. And also, if you found this video, this transmission, then you are called to really sit down with your soul and your ego and make your soul stronger than your ego. Yeah. So what's tied to belief system, I already mentioned also, to really look into your self-love, self-worth mindset. What you think you are worthy of. Can you love yourself enough to allow yourself to experience what you dream of? And maybe there are also voices in your head coming from different people saying like you're whatever, you're dreaming too big, you're this is not possible, this is something out of the blue, this is too visionary, this is too whatever, too much. Push these voices from others aside. This is your journey, this is your soul's evolution. No one can direct your life, only you can. These other voices are actually there to make you stronger in your own belief. Outside noises are always noises and voices are, are always there to bring you back on your own internal calibration, to strengthen your own signal of no, this is what I know I'm destined to experience. My soul came here to experience that, to allow yourself to go that path, no matter how eccentric, creative, crazy it may look for others. You are oftentimes actually a change maker. All those who have made a big impact, a big change on this planet, have thought out of the box. Otherwise, this planet would have no evolution. Yeah, humanity would have no evolution if not there was a single person thinking out of the box or mixing and matching things together that exist to create something new. So see it that way. The bold ones, the courageous ones, the unapologetic ones are the ones who make a change. And if your soul came here to make a change, that's your way of being, to think big, to think visionary, and to follow that. Outside noises, no thank you. Yeah, self-love, belief system. And this is, yeah, if you can say it like this, the belief system is mental, the mental layer you can look at, why you are not yet on your solar line timeline. The self-love aspect is the emotional level, yeah. And then we have also the physical level we can look at, and that is especially the nervous system. So the nervous system is a little bit like the capacity of what you are able to hold. I mean, first of all, what you are able to receive and hold. What you see also as normal. That's one part. Belief system. Okay, this timeline I'm anticipating, I'm working towards, I see it as possible. I see it not only as possible, as inevitable, as I said. Inevitable. Yeah, because possibility is still like, okay, someday, sometime, maybe. Inevitability. Yeah, if you make it inevitable, so in your mind, it is done. It is already like, yeah, yeah. So switch maybe even that word, possible to inevitable. That is a mindset shift. And then your tightness to it tied to your nervous system. It's a way of this is actually normal. Like, I mean, the reality you are currently living feels like, I mean, you don't question maybe even some aspects, probably not, because it's an automatism. So it has become a normal. So your brain is not totally occupied with always managing your life so that you have freedom to, yeah, to be and experience. Otherwise, you were always like, okay, analyzing your life and like, okay, this is a task to be operated on your human avatar, always like, That's not the case. Something has become normal. Yeah, in simple terms, something has become normal. So your nervous system is used to the current reality, current timeline you are living. And if you tap into the other timeline you want to materialize, you want to live, there's still often in the beginning a bigger gap. That gap becomes smaller and smaller the more you approach this timeline, the more you make your internal shifts and allow yourself to live that reality. That you have a gap between normality and, yeah, this is somehow still out there, far further away from me. And basically you want to bring this anticipated, unavoidable timeline you want to manifest into your field of normality, into making it normal. And by that, you expand your nervous system capacity to feel like, okay, this feels safe. Yeah, the nervous system is very much connected with safety, with survival. So often there's also this part of that I already mentioned, this part that questions, that brings you back into the old reality of comfort zone and stuff, because it has a little bit of fear. It's a little bit scared of the new because it doesn't know everything about the new. So there's a protection mechanism, an automatic survival mechanism still inside of us that keeps us a little bit like, oh, shanti. Yeah, a little bit of, let's see. Yeah. With time, of course, also if you master that game, I can say also this part becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and dries off into almost non-existence. Of course, there's always kind of like a survival mechanism inside, like our animal instinct, but it becomes very humble. It becomes very like, I don't really have a voice anymore. I'm just bold in my new timeline. So nervous system capacity, safety. You have a capacity, like a bucket full of, this is what I can hold, this is what feels normal and safe. And to actually make it bigger in that sense, to hold more light, hold more frequency, hold more consciousness, hold more of who you truly are. You make your nervous system capacity bigger by step aligning your belief system, aligning your self-worth, aligning your actions and decisions towards, and your embodiment, your identity, towards the reality, towards the timeline that you want to experience. Nervous system is the physical level of the whole game of shifting timelines in a soul aligned way. It's maybe also something that takes some time because it needs, in a way, also repetition. Yeah, in this physical dimension, we need repetition to make our system, our human avatar system, feel okay. Okay, new instruction. I'm now acting in this way. I am now steering towards this reality. Yeah, it's like an instruction actually you give your human avatar. And sometimes that comes with friction. Yeah, especially in the beginning. Yes, it may feel uneasy. It feel even more of a contraction first before the expansion can come. Because it's a way a little bit like coming out of this cocoon state, yeah, butterfly. Before it becomes a butterfly, the cocoon feels like, yeah, and then at some point it breaks open. You, yeah, spread your wings, and then you can actually fully live on that timeline. It's a little bit like this. So your nervous system gets stretched, and that may feel uneasy, and you may get in this phase also new downloads, new insights, new activations that are relevant, where you are prepared for your timeline. So very important step, but may be part of the contraction still. Yeah, nervous system capacity is a very big topic, also related to trauma. I'm not going into trauma now, but look at anything where your nervous system felt unsafe, not able to hold whatever you experience. Because whenever there's some form of trauma, especially that if it's related to the reality you want to manifest, then first this needs to be looked at. Belief system, self-love, self-worth, nervous system, capacity. These three things are essential if you want to shift from your current timeline to a new timeline. Plus, knowing your soul essence to have a soul aligned shift. Now, if we bring all together, we are back again at our topic identity shifting. Because shifting your belief system, shifting your self worth or your self image, shifting the nervous system capacity, it's all in a way also part of identity shifting. As I said, if you wish to dive deeper, I really invite you to watch the 2-part workshop live on YouTube here also. I mean, it's for free. So it's for your transmission to dive deeper. Also coming with a workbook actually and guided meditation. So it's, yeah, like a complete workshop you can do. Shifting identity. Shifting identity in the way, of course, that is soul aligned plus in alignment with that timeline. I mean, when you shift identity, your timeline shifts. It's more that way. You see the timeline and actually make an inventory, so to say, like, okay, this is the reality, the timeline I want to experience. This is the identity I am. What do I still need to integrate in my field, in my system to match that? Yeah, becoming aware again of the gap between where you want to be and where you are now. It's basically always the same. You have a goal, you have a destination, you have a wish, a dream, you have a current state of being, and then there's a mismatch and a gap, so to say, misalignment. Not always. I mean, it's always just also a jump, well, to the next level. Seeing what do I need to get from A to B. And this gap analysis, if you want to make it in this terminology, or this analysis of your in-between state, how to get from A to B, from my old to my new, from my outdated to my evolution, that is a major part of transformation. And I can imagine you also already have been in this in-between state. I mean, usually even without thinking of this terminology or of this state or of consciously of shifting, all this healing work and inner transformation, and even if there's just a nudge of like, I feel not fulfilled in this job or in this relationship or in this environment, it's already a sign or already an automatism triggered that brings you from where you are now to something new. Yeah, identity shifting, massive topic, in a sense easy. In practice, sometimes it takes a bit, but also here, the more you are aware of how it works, the better you become at it, and it becomes quite fun and playful. And that's also how I see how it is meant, reality, to play with that, to play like, this is what I want, what my soul came here to do, to be, to experience, and to transmit, and then to play with it, to see like, okay, which part of the game do I need to twist and tweak to get from where I am to what I want. Yeah. This also means, in a way, that you, of course, two things: need to let go, be able to let go, and be able to invite in or receive. There's, yeah, I don't know, there's a little bit of a block in humanity, especially in, yeah, empath, light workers, light leaders, of receiving. And I invite all of us to receive more of what we came here to receive. It's opening your portal more to like, yes, I'm ready. Yeah, if especially if you are in this stage of, I've done so much, I'm already tired of looking again into some whatever beliefs. Yeah, if you're tired of this process of constant healing and transformation and reading books and so forth, then maybe you are at this stage of allowing to receive. allowing to really, yeah, open your hands, your arms, and just be and trust that you can finally get what you were working for so long. Feminine energy, receiving, tied to self-worth, self-love, and also a little bit of nervous system capacity. So this you can actually train with anything you receive in everyday life, a compliment, a helping hand, something for free, yeah, that you always make that bigger in your consciousness, that you feel like, ah, thank you, I've received that. Yeah. That's a way of training your nervous system that receiving is safe. I don't know, it's a weird program somehow we have been given that receiving feels unsafe. Yeah. I mean, think about this. Why? Receiving has an equal validity to giving. It should be in balance. Duality is always in balance. There's no like this. I mean, sometimes just temporarily, but it in the long run, it's always in balance. So strengthening your ability to receive is also part of manifesting a new timeline. If you're not able to receive, the timeline is still somehow out there, just like I see it, but it's not here, felt, lived as a reality. It becomes this almost state again. Yeah, almost. I feel like a lot of people are in this almost. So pay attention also that this almost state doesn't become your identity. Because once it's part of your identity, it's still again a process of unraveling this and saying like, no, this is not part of my identity. I don't want to have this a part of my identity. I want to have in my identity integrated a channel of receiving. Because once actually, yeah, that I want to also make clear, if you are chosen to align to your soul, to come back to your true essence, to walk a path in soul alignment, in soul purpose, in soul leadership, maybe even. You cannot do that if you are deprived of the basics. The more abundant you are on all levels and all life areas, the more you feel nourished and you can give from overflow and not from contraction and scarcity and survival. That's a huge, not even program, it's kind of like sometimes it's like past life residues, vows of I'm not, yeah, receiving anything for what I do, not in this time quality. We came here to establish this new earth, which is abundance, lush abundance, Lakshmi energy, Garden of Eden. But to manifest that collectively, each and every one of us is invited to feel safe in luxury again. Not in the ego luxury of, I have all these designer clothes and I'm someone, but more so in like, yes, I dress in whatever way I feel luxurious. I nourish myself with food that feels luxurious. I'm, yeah, living in a way, a lifestyle that is luxurious. For someone, it's in the mountains, is for someone, it's amidst the jungle, for someone, it's with a ocean view, for someone it's really in a villa with pool, for someone it is more a rural area that is calm and peaceful. Luxury is for someone, yeah, I mean, luxury is for everyone something different, but the term luxury to make it feel safe again for you, and luxury also is tied to your, I wouldn't say highest solar line timeline, but the very high solar line timeline is pure luxury, abundance, overflow. Why I'm not saying highest timeline, I feel like sometimes it's like, there's a highest timeline for you. And while we can say from one perspective, there's a highest timeline now, right now, for your current state of being and your next evolution, there's a highest timeline, a highest match, yeah, a highest match timeline. Yeah, let's frame it like this: highest match timeline, not highest timeline, because you are limitless. Maybe your soul has set some whatever goal to achieve, but beyond that, if you are a high achiever soul here, you can always expand. There's no limit. There's no limit. So never restrict yourself if there's a highest timeline, because highest is always higher, higher and higher. Highest match timeline. So your highest match timeline is luxurious, whatever luxury means for you. And that's maybe also something you can contemplate about. Contemplate, yeah, what does luxury mean for you? How far is this timeline, this reality I want to manifest, to experience? Yeah, it's not about manifesting actually. I want to experience it. Manifestation, yeah, it's there. Tick, someday. But what you desire is the experience of it. As a human being, your soul wants to immerse in a new reality and sense it with your whole being, with your all senses. This is actually why we want a reality to materialize. Yeah, luxury. And then, yeah, after that, I've got stuck on luxury. After that, of course, also what you can tune into why you may still be on a timeline that feels misaligned and like follow through. Yeah, discipline. So whilst this like expansion and luxury may be more the feminine juiciness of it, discipline, directiveness, focus, intention is more the masculine aspect of you that also needs to be in the boat, of course, or the spaceship of manifestation, so that you, yeah, that you integrate both parts, like the feminine part that wants to experience it and be in it and live in it, and the masculine part of like, yes, get clear on what you want, set your intention clearly, connect with this intention, yeah, daily or maybe multiple times, even whatever works, in whichever way it works, rituals, practices, mindset work, action steps, decisions, in between steps. Also in this dimension, especially, not only imagination, visualization, that's again the feminine energy of, yeah, I see it, I can envision it, I can create it, I can create my vision board. Yes. Plus, this needs to get done. This needs to be carried out by this human physical form to get from A to B. Both is necessary. We know that. Yeah, it's just also, as always, a reminder, remembrance for you, discipline, follow through, repetition, to train your human self, your nervous system, your brain, your heart, to train yourself to be the new version of yourself, to embody it, to live it, to express it, to transmit it. Follow through. And of course, what also helps is, as always, trust and surrender. So even if you have done all of that, yeah, what we talked about, if you have all done that, and yeah, sometimes there are micro adjustments here and there, and I also don't want you to get into the over micromanaging of things. Otherwise, we are still in the hustling and in the force and control, maybe even, which is again ego-based, an ego-based approach. Soul aligned is always effortless in some form, at least. Yeah, it's more effortless. It's more at ease. It's more flowing. So trust and surrender are just key elements for a soul aligned life, because it is in a sense not you, this little I ego you anymore, but your higher expression, your higher version living through you. Higher self, soul, divine, these connected through you. And then actually life becomes so much more easy, because you can actually drop and exhale all these to-dos and tasks and overthinking and control mechanisms you have established and we were taught to and believed into and conditioned to, and let life flow through you. Let your soul come through this human avatar to fulfill its mission or purpose. Yeah, of course, some Some may not feel a strong mission, but usually if you're in my field, you are part of a movement. Yeah. Soul aligned identity shifting, soul aligned embodiment, soul expression, soul transmission, soul leadership, all of that, what I'm talking about. Yeah. Surrender and trust is essential on that path. And oftentimes you get initiations into that. You get sometimes harsh initiations into how much can you still trust? How much can you surrender more, even more? Yeah. How much can you still believe? Because of course there are also these times of setbacks, of falling down, of perceive like nothing really works, of I'm again in whatever pattern already have worked on that, but still I'm there. So there are also frustrating times, of course. And then it is a part inside of you that needs to be activated of my soul's wish, desire, purpose, to make that stronger than the layers of your human experience. It can be sometimes harsh, yes. But if you're on that path, at some point that comes natural, that you feel like I'm so in love actually to my soul. I mean, that's you. I sometimes, yeah, it's difficult. It's not a separation between this you that is experiencing and the soul. It's you. I mean, the soul experiences through that. You are it. So there's no separation. Sometimes it's just a term, like a concept more of understanding. Yeah. Before you are really connected with your soul, there's a distinction maybe, but at some point it merges. It merges together, and yeah, it's in a way of surrender is sometimes the only option, because your human mind may not really understand. Trust and surrender is essential to move, to keep moving despite not knowing. And you get initiations, as I said, yeah, initiations in the form of situations where things may not go as you anticipated or planned, where things go maybe even in a totally different direction, and to still stay strong in your belief. I know this timeline, the soul aligned timeline, is my destiny, or is my, yeah, is inevitable. It's inevitable for me to achieve. And what interplays in that also? Divine orchestration, divine timing, divine behind the scenes movements. Yeah. So it's divine co-creation. Soul aligned identity shifting is not the way of what you may know from other teachings or concepts. It's not of sitting with your ego and like, let's see what's possible. A little bit it is a playful approach of the soul, let's see what's possible, but it is more so a divine co-creation, a responsibility of, I know my soul I know my soul came here for that. I take the responsibility, self-responsibility and devotion to make that happen. At some point you become unapologetic because something inside of you gets annoyed and angry when something is misaligned, out of alignment of your soul. Something, there will be an activation inside of you, like even even sometimes the body shuts down if you continue doing something, being in a reality where you already know this is not aligned with your soul. Yeah, common things again tied to survival mechanism of a job you don't really like, you don't resonate with, you are just doing to pay your bills. Classical example in these times, yeah, from 2020 roundabout onwards, classical thing, yeah, contraction again. And so we close the full circle. Yeah, you may be in contraction. I've shared multiple, yeah, hooks you can tap into what may be in your field: mental level, emotional level, self-love level, nervous system, body level, or the spiritual level of trust and surrender. of connecting with your soul again, to shift to a soul aligned timeline. Because I know it can be very frustrating if you have put so much effort in your internal alignment. You feel internally, yeah, like I feel like a new version inside, but nothing is reflected outside. And then you question, of course. And so maybe something amongst what I've transmitted today for you is helpful. You can, yeah, you can, you can make this your North Star to, yeah, your soul is the North Star. So I feel like my main message also always and again, your soul, I wish your soul recognizes itself through the transmission. That you can bypass filters of illusion, that you can remember deeper layers of yourself. And remember that you came here to reclaim that power of living your most luxurious, abundant, juicy, fulfilling timeline. After lifetimes, maybe even, probably after lifetimes of going through difficulties, wars, fighting, toxicity, karmic entanglements, and so forth. It's time. It's time. It's time. But it needs your decision. Yeah, that's my last message. It needs your decision. Make the decision. I'm in devotion to my soul, and I cannot accept anything less than what I came here to experience. More so, I'm anticipating to get more than I even thought from my limited human mind to be possible. If you have any sharings on this topic, I would be interested. Leave them in the comments. Also, maybe you want to set an intention. It's always good to write that down for yourself. What are your next steps in the way of closing the gap between where you are and where you want to go? Closing that gap, what are the next steps for you to take? You have, yeah, you have all what you need inside of you. I know sometimes it's a very basic calendar quote saying, but it is true. Just remember and activate it inside of you. Reclaim it to be yours. That timeline also. Soul aligned and abundant on all levels. So much love and bliss as always. And see you in the next Love Satsang.